and podcasts.
All right, welcome. Welcome, Wu Sada. Welcome to the interviews.
What's good?
If everybody doesn't know who this is Wu Sada, one of my good friends in the music scene out here.
Known for years. Known for some years now.
Hell yeah, hell yeah. So we're gonna get right into it, man. We're gonna get start with your favorites, man. All right, so cartoons back in the day. You had to wake up on Saturday mornings or anything like that to have to watch this cartoon. What's your favorite cartoon?
Shit, like, man. I grew up watching Shaman King. Anime was heavy, especially if we talking Saturday. Dragon Ball Z was that main one that lead in for, and like anime, like really in general. Gundam Wing, like that was like late night though, like midnight run. When Toonami was up and shit, the original Toonami though. And then if I had to say like Cartoon Network's pure shows, bro, you remember Freakazoid?
No, I do not. What?
Bro, he was like this blue freak that would just like dart all over the place, bro. He's crazy as hell, bro. Like, I used to love watching that nigga because, bro, his energy was like, I was like, damn, that's my energy right there. I like that. I love that.
The number one one?
Yeah. You said number one what?
Favorite.
Number one favorite on there?
All time. You can't get You'll probably go watch it a bunch of times throughout your life.
From Cartoon Network. Let me say, man, because there's a few. So if I had to say, Ed and Eddie, bro. I can't go without Ed and Eddie, bro.
That is crazy because that is my favorite cartoon of all time.
Like, bro, that show, and then especially like when they went to the later seasons and like kind of expanded their universe a little bit. And it's like first we grew up with them in the cul-de-sac, and then they gave us them in the school. That was lit for me. I ain't gonna lie to you, because I liked it. Like, the continuation, they get a little more intimate with the characters, and they give them a reason to now go on, and they giving you a perspective of their life that you didn't see before. So for me, that was intriguing. Like kind of like how like when with Rugrats on Nickelodeon, how they did like the Rugrats all grown up and shit like that. I was like, damn, that's beautiful. For real. I was like, that shit was enjoyable for me. And Cat Dog. If we go to Nickelodeon, Cat Dog was my shit. I ain't gonna beat you for a bit. I was pigeonholed to Cartoon Network. I wasn't even thinking about Disney. That's how you know Cartoon Network really dominated though, for real, bro. Cause like, I didn't even think about Nickelodeon or any of them. And then you got like the other extra channels they had back then. But for me, I say yeah, still yeah, Ed, and Eddie, bro. But there's a lot though. There's a lot though.
Character off Ed, and Eddie? Top character.
Bro, that nigga, bro, Rolf with the 2 shoe beatings, bro. That's my horse. That's my horse. Yo, he's the son of a shepherd is not to be fucked with. That's one thing that literally, bro, Rolf is probably like one of the most funny characters ever, bro. Cause he like on another level, like I said, first generation African. I really resonate with that like a lot. Cause he didn't have like just at first you would think he's just a chill dude, long dude. Then he get to talking and then he starts acting crazy, doing all this extra stuff. And it's like, bro, the cultural dissonance that you have between him and the other characters, like in the way that he interacts differently than everybody, bro. I just liked it because it reminded me a lot of my family members and my own experiences too growing up. Because I wasn't like I ain't 2 shoe beating niggas growing up and shit, but I was definitely way rougher than I noticed than like American kids and stuff like that. I was like, oh, okay, so they don't play like that. Let me Rolf, bro, Rolf. Oh, that nigga Rolf, bro. Hey, and Johnny was funny as hell too. That nigga Plankton. No, not Plankton. Plank. I said Plankton. Plank.
All right, moving on from that, because that was an awesome answer, honestly. Moving on from that, your favorite video game that you gotta have that video game. You had to have it when.
I'm not gonna lie to you, bro. Still to this day, it's Shadow of the Colossus, bro. That's like one of the most visually stunning video games I've ever fucking played in my life.
Are you talking about the new one or the old one?
They made a new one?
Yeah, I think they remastered.
Shit, I'm about to have to look that shit up. I ain't been tapped in. I must have been sucked in too much in Call of Duty and shit.
Don't quote me fully.
I mean, if they did, though, they need to, though, for real, because I'm not going to lie, bro. If we talk about, like, that time period for that game, bro, if you really go and look at the graphics of that game, how they did the Colossi in that game, it is crazy, bro. Like, just the the landscape, the way that the UI, all of it is like literally next generation. Like they can literally port that straight to like PS5 and it will be straight. I mean, you might have some discrepancies, obviously, because
What system was it on?
that was on PlayStation 2, I believe, bro. So that's a while back,
Yeah, I think
like
they
a
might have
while.
made like a PS4 version of it. Like,
Yeah, they definitely. I'm pretty sure they would have had. Yeah, cause I had it on the PS4. I got it on the
That
PS4.
one where they're like puzzles and you
Mm-hmm.
have to climb up
Yeah,
them and
bro.
stuff like that.
Yes, bro. That game is raw.
That's
That
crazy.
game is raw.
that's a crazy awesome answer. I would never expect.
Cause I like open world games, bro. And like here's like there's like on some real shit. There's really no like minions and stuff to fight. Like you're mostly just trying to like traverse the plane, which is some of the funnest stuff in the game, honestly, because it brings like it brought a unique system to like the kind of side scrolling, just get through like the obstacle kind of thing, and it made it an open world thing where it's the environment. And I'm like, yo, this is raw. Like, and then when you get to the part where now he's like, he has to climb up the Colossus. You gotta like figure out where their weak point is on them and stuff like that. You have to use your mind to play the game, and it's like it's not overwhelming, but it's perfectly it's not underwhelming. It's perfectly balanced. Like the way that you move in the game, the system of his horseback riding and combat with him on it, because he only has two weapons. He has his sword and he has his arrow. And honestly, like I said, they don't even give you like mag combos or nothing like that. It's just the combat is enticing enough that you're into it, and it's like shit. Honestly, if they did a new gen level of it, they will be able to make some bank, bro. Because that game would dominate, bro. Like right now, for the games that they got out right now, that game would still stand out, 110%.
I've never played that game. Honestly, I need to put
It's
it on
raw
my
as
list.
fuck. It's raw as fuck. It's worthwhile.
Definitely need to put it on my list. All right, sticking on the favorites, we're gonna move on here. What's your favorite food? Not even just like of all time. You have to have it no matter what. You stranded on an island, you get one dish,
I ain't gonna lie to you,
one
bro.
entree.
I ain't gonna lie to you, bro. It's beef ramen.
Beef ramen.
Beef ramen. Someone's gonna laugh at that shit, but if we go to like, if we talking everyday comfort food, something I can just munch on, I could be up, have millions in my bank account, and still be eating it. Beef ramen, bro. Cause I'm gonna have a cupboard full of them bitches, no matter what.
You're talking to a ramen guy, so I understand that for sure. All right, so we're gonna start going into the rap a little bit here, but we're still gonna stay on the favorites right
Yeah,
before we go into like your personal rap career. Favorite rappers of all time, like the top tier. If you don't have just one, you can give me three, maybe five.
I'm gonna give you like my top five, cause it's way more than that for real. And I feel like this ain't even gonna really do them justice, but
Start from 5 and go all the way up.
and this is in no order too. I'm gonna say off the rip, Inspector Deck, just because I learned about Wu Tang back in the day, like separately from him. But I learned about I was already jamming to like Inspector Deck, and like I didn't really actually learn that Inspector Deck was with Wu Tang until I watched the Wu Tang saga, and I was like, wait. Inspector's a part of Wu Tang, and I was like, kind of flipped my way, because I mean, I'm not gonna lie to you. Growing up, mostly when I saw Wu Tang, I mostly would see like RZA, Method Man, and I'm not gonna lie. At first, for a little bit, I thought Redman was a part of it, but I don't think Redman's actually a part of Wu Tang. He's just like he's doing this. He's a solo artist, fire as fuck too, which is another reason why Redman is a whole beast in itself. He's actually also in that top five, so count him as four. Um, and then, like I said, man, Inspector is just like his lyrical prowess is just crazy. Like I say Meth is raw too. Don't get it twisted. All of them are raw. ODB is raw, and then the way that Jizza goes at it, he's genius. There's a reason why he's called a genius, bro. And then if I had to say, after like I said, so right there that puts Inspector Deck as my five. Redman, I'm gonna throw in as four, and then Lupe. And honestly,
Fiasco?
yeah, Lupe Fiasco, man, he's nuts. He's fucking nuts.
I love that.
Kid Cudi, because I remember when I first heard Day and Night back in the day, it was like I heard it on the radio, and I literally just heard like the chorus, like the ending of it and shit like that. When I tell you, I stayed up like 2, 3 nights just playing my radio. This is when like we had the AMF and we didn't have like all the shit we got now, so you couldn't just look the shit the fuck up. I mean, I did eventually go look it up once I got the lyrics and stuff, but I had to hear the lyrics. I couldn't remember the lyrics from it, so I was trying to wait to hear it, and then I heard the lyrics. I was like, okay, I memorized them, And now when I got that chorus, I looked it up. It was like, oh, Kid Cudi Day and Night. And that was why I like boom, just got it. And like that was when he like started to like take off. And I was like, well, I was happy to see that because I mean, obviously his career has still been thriving. He did that house party cameo more than the cameo. He had a big role in that actually. He did fucking fire and fire. I was actually surprised at House Party 2 on the side note. I didn't think that they was gonna do as good as they did with it because of the IP. And for me, I looked at House Party as succeeding because of Kid and Play, really like them bringing the spirit to it. But they did something good with that movie, and Kid Cudi got to shine in it, like in a real cool pop culture way. Like it's not just like forced. It feels like it's like okay, he's naturally meshing with this, and it makes sense for his presence to be in this. Makes it, and then even when they went extra, but that's how they. So Kid Cudi is my what? That's 4 now. So I got one more.
One more. Of all
Bro,
time, best rapper you think? Your favorite, I should say. Your favorite.
man,
Can't do without him. You got four artists on your playlist on an island. One more.
I'm not gonna lie, bro. We talking like lyrical shit, bro. I really gotta go ahead and drop Drake in there, bro. Cause I mean, the dude, I've been listening to him since what, 2009. It's 2023 right now, and he's still dropping. Like I listened to the new project. I like there's some bangers on there. There's a couple I like on there, and even now I'm like, bro, this is a decade, mind you, though. Still, he doesn't have to drop no music for nobody. So the fact that he's still dropping music is still in his energy, still in his capacity, and he hasn't even still technically reached his pinnacle because he can. It's hip hop now. We don't establish that artists can. We have longevity. We can drop a track when we're 50 if we still want to. So with that, I gotta put Drake up there, bro, because his songs, like, there's songs that I'll play like now. Like the only other one who I can probably say with that has songs that I go back and play, like really actually bring you a real true nostalgia, is like Wiz Khalifa, like that never been aged, like Wiz really, Wiz too, yeah. So it's time for Wiz. I'm gonna throw Wiz as like a extra add on, yeah, because Wiz, you can't not talk, especially my smoking ass, bro. You can't sit there with it raw, bro. Can't not talk about Wiz, bro. That nigga, that man, bro, like he got because I thought about it. At first, I'm not gonna lie, I never really got with the following too much of behind niggas shit, so I was still smoking like shells, shit like that. But after a while, I started to kind of think about the concept of it, and I also really want to stop smoking like cigarettes and shit like that. And I'm like, damn, bro, nicotine is in the shells that I smoke. I was like, shit, that ain't nothing like that with a paper though. And I was like, I get why that man smoked papers. I was like, bro, you wasn't trying to put all that bullshit in the system, bro. And it was like, then outside of that, just the image of like, bro, independent, like really running and grinding and like showing like how to really build leverage on business level, like, and building connections. Outside of him too, Snoop, OG, Big Unk in the game. Gotta show love to that because he I feel like he definitely I'm not gonna say he was like instrumental in his career, but I feel like Snoop definitely he showed a lot of love, and the way that they just meshed. It's a damn near like you would have thought that they was friends from another life, just meeting in this one. Like, for real, they literally seem like buddies from another life. But yeah,
Hell yeah, hell yeah. That was six, I think 6 or 7 artists.
that was a few. That was quite a few.
Nice. That was nice. Nice little list, dude. Honestly, great little playlist. You can start up right there. So we're gonna move over into your life, man. Like, especially your rap career and everything. Like, when did you start rapping?
For me, my first like real try at rapping, honestly, was when I was a kid. But it was just you're a kid, and then later on it like would be developed into like I started writing as a kid. I didn't write raps, but I wrote stories. I didn't write like doing really any. I didn't really do anything. I just wrote short stories, gruesome ass short stories about like killing Elmo and shit like that. Fucking Clifford the Killer Red Dog and crazy shit. I'm glad my parents didn't see those stories because they would have. They probably would have had me institutionalized. My dad couldn't understand English, so like he really probably didn't know what I was writing on the paper. We would just look at the paper and confirm the length that we filled the paper up. So he didn't give a fuck what we wrote in there. But I'm like, if he would have actually read one of these stories and comprehended what was in front of his face, he would have been like, "What the hell?" what's wrong with my child? Like, he thought, but then after a while, I started getting a little more like writing fantasy, writing anime type after the stuff that I'm growing up watching, cartoon to comedy stuff to skits and things like that. Then I went to like college programs and it ended up turning into writing poems. So like for me, when I started writing those poems was in like what my freshman year, and then after my freshman, no, my sophomore year, I went all the way from my youth to my like sophomore year until I like really started to write poems. And then like people would tell me, like, oh, you should be a rapper, and I was like, at that time was like, nah, man, everybody wants to be a rapper. I don't want to be a rapper. Like, I just specifically didn't want to do. I love rap, but it wasn't about to try it because I knew at least at that point in time about 10 people who were trying to be rappers already. And then it ended up turning into me looking at like, okay, I would be in like ciphers. Well, you just cipher with your homies. They just start freestyling, and then after that, while they like freestyling and shit, you're into it. You just getting into it. You just having fun. So I wasn't really thinking anything of the sessions that we was having. I was just like, okay, let's get into it. And then I would say after my senior year, that's where like now we've been doing it for some time. I've had people like compliment me a lot on like my freestyles and stuff like that, and I'm starting to kind of write raps myself too because I'm listening to like the rap game and I'm hearing stuff and I'm like not liking it as much. And instead of talking shit about the hip hop that I'm hearing, I was like, just start making music yourself then. And I did the one thing that somebody told me. He told me about Kendrick. He's like, Kendrick just made music for himself, and I was like, honestly, for the years, that's pretty much what I've been doing. Like I started in 2013 officially, I would say, because it was when I dropped out of college and I just really didn't have the money. So I was trying to stop out, but I didn't even have the money to pay for my books, so my grades were shit because I mean I didn't have the fucking books to do like the homework, like classes like English I was able to get by on because I'm good with that. And I was able to in class to play off and use context clues from like other things and also get access to some of their books to do like quick reading and shit like that. But math, like French classes you needed, to have the book with you. I didn't, well, French not so much, but like I would say the math and like my science classes were the ones I really suffered in because I didn't have the coursework. So I dropped out. And then that's when 2013 came and I just kind of took. I was like, I was outside of college. Actually, literally, it was raining. I tried. They gave me this bullshit sticker to put on my car, and it was like, I don't know if I applied the sticker wrong initially and that fucked it up or what it was. But no matter where I put it on, because I thought maybe at first it was the outside sticker, it didn't stick. And then I was like, okay, maybe it's one of those inside stickers that you put on the car. And I was like, okay, let's try that. And it just didn't stick no matter which way you put it on the car. And then it started raining like stupidly hard. So I was like, well, I guess maybe that's just a sign that this just doesn't stick for me. Maybe this isn't the path for me. Not to say that higher learning isn't something that people should pursue. It's something I think all people should pursue, but it doesn't have to necessarily take the form of going to a college campus. And also, learning is an ongoing process. Once you learn how to learn, you don't need it. So, in the rambled ass way, I stumbled my way into rapping in 2013. And I will be honest, I don't think I really started taking it serious till about like maybe 2016 for real, for real. Like I was going through my phone and I would see like I would have all these verses, but not full songs. And I mean, I know what the verses go to, but I wanted to see full pieces instead of just seeing verses, mad verses in my phone. And I'm like, man, all these incomplete notes. I'm like, well, I wanted to see more complete notes, more full ones for myself, ones that I'm confident in too, because I would have full ones, but they would be ones that would be like, I was still trying to mesh that poetic style that I had with my rap style, but I'm not gonna lie, we was also with my homies who I started with AOE. We would be like on some NY type shit. Like we was trying to write like the hardest, most like prolific, like thought fucking provoking shit we could ever make, and but also be on some like high spiritual shit. I'm not gonna lie, I still mix the spiritual, my mind say my on spirit in songs, but I don't try to get as over. I'm not as overbearing with it anymore. I want the song to prevail overall. Like I don't want what I say to be more important than the beat. And that was when I really felt like that's when I started really rapping. And that's like around, if we're going on the timeline, that's like probably, like I said, 2016, 20, when I started really writing songs.
Oh yeah, oh yeah. With that, this is like a three-part question. It's really hard to ask it in any order, but like, where did you grow up? Where are you from? And where's your family from? It's honestly, I know you're gonna remember all three of them, but go in the order that you would like. If you want to start with your family, and then go into like where you grew up, and then like where you're from.
I grew up on the east side of Columbus, Ohio. Elaine Road is pretty much the hood. Wasn't really a fun place to grow up. It was fun, I'm lying. But yeah, after a while, you start to realize what that lifestyle entails. And then, my mom is from like down south, but they ended up coming up here. She's from Thomasville, Georgia. My dad is from Senegal, West Africa. And what was the other one you had asked on after?
Where you grew up, where you're from, and where your family's from.
Yeah, so I grew up on Elaine. And like I said, my mom is from down south, Thomasville, Georgia. Uh, then they grew up here. They came up here and stuff. There's still the Rogers family is still down there. They used to be in the real estate and stuff like that. I'm not really certain what they do now because we don't really talk to them. But then outside of that, my dad's side, the Senegalese side, West Africa, I'm pretty much in contact with them. It's a bit that's the biggest side of my family. I'll say like they're Africa is one of the funnest parts because I actually got to go there. And when I was younger, in like 2005, I wish I had gotten to go back sooner, but man, tickets cost a lot. I ain't gonna beat you, bro. But I definitely do plan to go because it's not like how people show you. Even in the village where I was at, because my dad's from the village. Like even my mom is from like small town Thomasville, Georgia. So like it's like even though my mom grew up in America, she kind of had the same upbringing as my father because like they still there for even my early childhood. Now it's probably not the case. Maybe I don't know. I'm not gonna don't quote me because I ain't been down there and shit. But they had outhouses and shit even when I was like a kid and shit. So she was like, if we go down there, I hope you ready to go to an outhouse. And that was where I was like, nah, I'm cool on that trip, ma. I don't want to go there. I ain't gonna lie to you. If they had warned me about that shit in Africa, I probably wouldn't have been as eager to go there. But once you really get to using it in Africa, it's like, yeah, it's whatever. This ain't really it though. It's big ass flies and shit, bro. The biggest flies I ever seen in my life in the outhouse, bro. That's the only thing I don't like about that shit. But that's not a here nor there. Let me not get
With more emphasis on the question, how's the lifestyle in the two different places? Like,
lifestyle in Africa is like really it's a much calmer pace than America. I'm gonna be honest with you. It's like here in America you realize how we're like that. Like we're always snapping to. And don't get it wrong. If you go to Dakar, the city there, it's like that. It's like Manhattan on crack, but it still has like this kind of African charm to it. It's the only place I ever saw like salesman literally like push his hand in the window so much, bro. I'm talking about, bro. It's hot, so we not rolling the window down, bro. This taxi ain't got no AC and shit like that. We not rolling this window down, bro. So I mean, we not rolling the window up. So this dude just keeps reaching this. He just keeps reaching in with these razors, bro. My dad ended up buying these razors, bro. Just put it like that. This man sold him on those razors. And then like American life here, I realized too another thing, like we starting to get up on it with like vendors, food and stuff like that. But street food is a big thing there. When I went there, and I really loved that aspect of it. And I think like now that we starting to get like a lot more of that like popping like just like, in places like Columbus, we got like mad food trucks stuff and like that now. Like I love that. And here growing up, for me, I'll say America is you can see the structure in it, but obviously growing up in the hood, I also to say like it's like you see that we have the structure, but the mind state doesn't seem to follow. Like we don't seem to advance with the structures around us, with the society around us on a certain level. So that was. I mean, we've since I got homies that don't even do that stuff no more. That turned into preachers and stuff like that. and doing real business stuff. Truckers, they got families, real turned into real men. And I just, little niggas no more, little hood niggas trying to be OGs and shit like that. That used to be the goal. Be OG, you know, be big out here, be the big dog, shot caller, whatever you want to call it. But yeah, everybody just want to be the top dog. That was kind of like the lifestyle we grew up in. It was like that hood fabulous era too, because mind you, 2008 was like that whole era, like being the baggy pants era, all that shit. Like, cause my dad was up too, cause he had the boutique out here too. So like we was just doing that, like mad the bootleg life and bootleg culture. His shop was his shop had him like it had him stupidly up for real, and it was just like one of those things where it also had me tapped into the culture, like as far as like hip hop, because he has all the bootleg mixtapes, he got all the bootleg albums, everything, bro. So I'm listening to all kinds of music all day. I got access to whatever music I want to fucking hear, and like, and then on top of that, at this point, we in the digital era, mind you. We already got LimeWire, YouTube, all this shit popping off now, but now I got the access to the shit like before it even really gets on YouTube. I got the direct shit. Like I'm like, oh cool, bad nigga. I got this man. I'm out this nigga. I'm about to do this. But that was how I like ended up getting heavy into music too out here in America for real. Cause just listening to the stores, to the songs at my dad's store, and also helping them with that. That also kind of got me on my like business, like wanting to work. I don't mind working and doing my jobs that you gotta do for a time period, but it always instilled in my mind like do something for yourself though, because even though my dad would always have something, he might end up going to do something. He would always have his own little thing that he's doing on the side, making his own bread. But yeah, it's pretty much like what it's been like in America for me. Like learning independence, getting in touch with the culture. Going to Africa was getting in touch with my roots. I ain't gonna lie, like I said, I've never been out south. I know I got family from there, and I'm in touch with my mom's side of the family over here, and it's pretty much the tight knit thing. Like I said, family over everything for me. Like I cherish my cousins, like I cherish my brothers and my sisters. They ain't just cousins. They ain't just cousins to me. Like people who I grew up with, people who I love. I like seeing them prosper. That's kind of the mind state that I've been doing and growing with is prosper, growing, and keeping everything connected. At least trying to. Everybody got their own bag they go into.
It's deep. It's deep. All right, man. That was deep, deep answer, dude. I love it. Wow. Going into the next part, like, it's just gonna, you know, piggyback off of that. Like, you've been around Columbus and the music industry out here and the culture. Tell us what's the Columbus music culture like?
I mean, Columbus is an eclectic picture, man. It's a lot of shit going on out here because I'm not just gonna. When we talk about the Columbus scene, we can't just talk about hip hop is artists, painters, visual artists. There's people who doing paint. There's people doing dance. There's people doing all kinds of arts in Columbus, and that's really the biggest thing I don't think that the city gets enough shine for is people don't see that we have the economy we need as far as we have the artists out here like that can support even ventures like when rappers want to do videos they're going to go look for dances they're not even thinking about looking into local dance groups stuff like that but we have them out here. Yeah, some of them are doing it, but not everybody. Not enough are doing it. Not enough are tapping in and creating, a market for them. That's what I mean as far as economy, creating a market for these people, videographers. We got a lot of videographers. The rappers out here are insane, man. You can get on a bus. You can get on the bus out here and run into a dope MC. I've done it myself. Literally met this dude who I'm talking about like it might be because my energy and gravitation or whatever, man. But I ain't gonna lie to you. This dude literally blew my socks off, and it takes a lot to blow my socks off, bro. It takes a lot to impress me, bro. Like for you, like really me to really like big up you, like, cause I might big up you like on some like I ain't gonna disrespect and down this cat. I mean, I'll tell him it's whack. If it's whack, if it's like super whack, I'm a hey dog, look, just stop it. Don't even do this. Like I'm not gonna say no more. I'm just gonna say don't do this. But this dude, bro, like he had like a mix of Bone Thugs. Like I'm talking about like all three of them niggas though, mixed into one with like Tupac, kind of like Biggie, like perfect Tupac balance though. Like, and it's like his own thing. Like, I'm not saying like he specifically sounded like that, but this is just a random cat that I'm running into. Then we got like young cats like King Jav. We got October Jones. We got the bigger ones. We know Doobie, and then honestly, like we have artists who came out of Columbus like El Trent, Elliot, Elliot Trent. I mean, I said it's goddamn Instagram and shit. I don't know why the hell I did that, but yeah, Elliot. Like, and then you have like my other homie Shane, you, Mr. Space Light. And then there's like I said, all the other young cats. We got like what's his name? Man, we got Asia Green. We got like the female artists in the city is going hard, and then also just Ohio artists in general, bro, going hard like that. That's another thing too. I like to look at it as more of a try to get the whole pod because I don't even want to do name drops for the artists because there's a whole bunch that will end up not getting mentioned just because memory ain't there for all of that. But from what I've seen out here, the scene is live, bro. Especially when you get to the hip hop and you bring that, and if you bring the cultures together, as far as like you find the artists that you can fit with that do pop. Like, oh, this artist does rock, but he has certain songs that have this kind of feel to it. So he brings this kind of crowd out. Like once you, because all that takes is just going to go see the show. Like this guy Sam Rothstein, he throws shows at Scully's. I think he might still be the event planner there. I don't know. You want to fact check me on that one, but I'm pretty sure he should be though, because he's pretty good at his job. He did the Cloud City, Crystal Palace shit events, which honestly, if before that pandemic hit, if we didn't get hit with that pandemic, I mean, I used the pandemic as a little excuse to kind of step back and get my shit together anyway. But I think a lot of people did anyway. At least the smart people did. I feel like, but if that didn't happen, honestly, the scene out here would have kind of shot right up because I will also say we needed more than just one Cloud City and one Cloud Crystal Palace. We needed like 5 events of that caliber going up like within the year. They don't necessarily gotta happen like at the same time, but we at least we needed that kind of thing happen at the same time. Because another thing too in the city is we've had good studios and big studio things happening in big moments things that could have grown into moments and hubs for the artists in the city. I feel like starting with Remix, that's one of the studios I started with. And Shake was one of the best people who I was just glad to meet. He's a man of faith, man of God. And, he just introduced me to a lot of different concepts that I didn't get into my head, like as far as the business and the approach, and also a little bit of the apprehension of the game too. He did instill a little bit of that in me too. But, he also, above all, he said, have faith in yourself and what you do before you do it. And that's just, above all, have faith in God too. And then there's like that studio. If Hitmakers Boulevard, there's a lot of artists that was working there and came out of. That's where October Jones, I think Dre, another cat, I can't remember his name off the top of my head, but he's also raw as fuck. They had a few there, and then after that, there was the studio I was at with the LAE that wasn't an opportunity. But the thing is, none of these ended up sticking around. Hitmakers Boulevard, I think, actually is around still. I don't know where they are, but I think they do still have Hitmakers Boulevard somewhere. But it was none of these were up at the same time as like being together and being able to create kind of a synergy, if you get what I mean. Like they weren't able to bounce that energy off of each other as far as bringing these different artists and giving these artists a launch pad, because that's really what a studio is supposed to be. It's a hub and it's also a launch pad. It's a place where these artists get the chance to link, and it's a chance where they get the chance to work and make their music and really create. It's the lab. And we didn't have all of that shit popping at the same time. And then until the city gets that, it might end up being, independent artists in the city doing that and popping up on their own and doing it at that caliber. Because now that it's seeming more like people are less prone to go to the studio, or at least unless your studio is established and it has people have a reason to go there, they're not going to come to you. So it's kind of like a tattoo shop. People don't mind going to somebody's house for it, but if you in the shop, we just know you official. Yeah, it's just this kind of how it goes. And then when you in the shop, you obviously got to have somebody who's got skill with it. You're not just gonna have somebody scribbling on your shit. You gonna have somebody who's on his P's and Q's. He knows he can. If somebody asks him something specific, some crazy ass fucking request, he can do that shit, or at least he understands how to tell him. Yeah, bro, no, that's not even possible, bro. but the scene out here is like I said, we got a lot of talent, man, and artists are starting to go abroad. They're starting to go to different places. Like Asia Green is in L.A. now. We got Ink James. He's he's always on the move. And then you have, like I said, just other cats who are just moving around and trying to do things like as far as interconnecting the scene out here. And on my own end, I say I definitely need to start. I want to start performing more, but I just had to stop performing because I just didn't really see a purpose in it. To be honest, I didn't see. I felt like I'm creating an opportunity to take money from my homies more than I am giving them art. And so I was like, okay, bro, I see that. I want to give it a protocol for performing. Actually, Sam Rothstein even commented on that. He was like, man, if you do perform when you got some new shit, when you about to drop something, you got something going on, like it's something. Like, don't just make it you giving them a performance every weekend because then it takes away the novelty from it and also it devalues your performance as well. Now, if you're trying to get your like skill up and you're doing open mics and stuff like that, that's different. I'm talking about like real shows, like you done planned, you done got a poster up, you selling tickets, you're trying to promo this, you're like really actually pressing for that. I feel like there should be an approach for that. That's one of the things I want to see kind of in the city more because I feel like a lot of artists kind of do that. They'll flood people with shows. Like even with your shows when they happen like 3 months in between. Sometimes like you take the time to even promote them when you do it, and even then still it's like hey, there's on yeah. But you also let people know too. Hey, there's only going to be so many people that can even come here. That in and of itself creates what was the word? A desire. It draws people a little bit more because the people who know what your music sounds like and really fuck with you are going to be like, oh no, let me make sure I get up in there. And then the ones who are curious, are like, it just kind of gets me in there. Like it gets the foot in the door a little bit more. But yeah, like I said, I don't know. There's a lot going on in the scene. I want to get a little bit more involved before I even really actually can like sum it up. But all I know is people who be saying like, "Oh, it's dead out here." No, 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 no. It's not dead. It's just people don't understand business, and we gotta understand interconnectivity and uh, just oh man, it's a lot because it's really a lot. Like I said, it just goes down to basic business, bro. Reciprocity, simple practices, respect, actually having real integrity and understanding what you're doing. And like people don't understand that their business is their brand, so you can't have shootouts and shit going on at a club because when you do that, now that club is going to be shut down. They're taking a hard hit. They're probably never gonna ever book you again. So like that type of shit popping off, you want to keep that in mind. Like that's why like with people who got street ties and street affiliations, even in a place like this, it's best to know like where these artists are coming from, just in case. So just so you know, hey, this nigga's from the south side. Well, this nigga's from the east side. Okay, we got blood, we got a crib. All right, let's maybe not put both of these two on the same set. Like simple shit like that just avoids confusion. And you don't even gotta create it. If they cool with each other, it's cool. But if they're not cool, don't even bring it into an opportunity of anything happening. But I haven't seen too much of like I mean there's obviously gonna be shit that pops off randomly and you can't always predict who's gonna be where. But it's just like I don't know. I haven't been hearing so much about it. I think the worst one that hit me was hearing about Lil DB from East Haven when he got killed at a show. Cause I actually grew up with him, so I knew him. So like it kind of sucked hearing about that. And it's a lot. It's a lot more homies that done died from random gunfire too. Rest in peace to all of them. But his hurt because he like even the dude who threw the show, he was like, I didn't even want him there. Like the promoter specifically told him he didn't want him to be there because he didn't know what like kind of night he was going to be. And it wasn't like he wasn't even involved in like a direct altercation. He just got caught in the crossfire. So it's like if he wasn't even there, it like if he had just kind of listened to him because he tried to have like that like that forward intention, but there's really no way he couldn't really predict like it was gonna pop off. However, it popped off. But again, this refers back to the situation that if he had known who was involved, whatever, it might not have happened. But I'm also not gonna speculate too much on that because that's a sad situation, and I don't even think that dude promotes shows. I think he literally stopped doing that shit after that. Yeah, it's tough as fuck.
Tough. A lot going on in the city. A lot of perspective from you, which is great. Hopefully, a lot of people understand we're out here grinding. working our
Yeah,
asses off.
it's a
Every
grind.
one of us.
It's a
Promoters
grind.
to rappers to people that just get caught in freaking crossfire. That is.
Yeah. I say the best lesson I received was when I was at a battle rap. It was just at it was the end of it. It was I think my bro Mike Carey had just gotten to what was it, ABM shoot. I don't think he goes by ABM shoot anymore, but shoot. Uh, we just outside chopping it up. It's me, Mike Carey, Nadia Ali, and shoot. We like sitting there. I'm across from shoot. No, Nadia Ali is across from him, and I'm at Jason, and Mike Carey's across from me. So his brother walks up behind him, like directly behind him, and just stands there. We sitting there. I'm like right here. My Carrie's here. Nadia's here. Nadia's looking at his brother and like kind of giggling, laughing, and he just stands there the whole time. He doesn't move. He's just like standing there. It's like brothers, shit, brother do. I knew it was his brother though, so like that's why I ain't tripped. There wasn't no reason to, but so we sit there. We laughing, we laughing. He giggling. He see we giggling. I don't know. He just kind of get like the inkling in his mind to turn around finally. He turned around, he run into his brother, like, oh, God, me. So his brother looks, he's like laughing, like we laugh a little bit, and then he walks, he joins the circle, and he's like, oh, that's funny though, but why ain't y'all say nothing though? And like in the moment we just kind of look at him like, shit, I knew who he was. That's what I said pretty much. I mean, I did know who he was. So, but then he looks at Nadi and he was like, well, Nadi's like, shit, I got him if anything would have popped off. He looks at and at that point the question now changes. She's like, looks at my kid, he's like, you got him? He's like, shit, I got him if anything would have happened. And me, I'm like, he looks at me finally. He says like, you got him? What about you? If anything would have happened, you got him? I was like, shit, yeah, I got him if you would have came up on some shit, yeah, whatever. Pops off, nigga, shit, I'm with it. Nigga lifts up his waistline, shiny, polished ass black Mac 11 on his hip. He's like, you got him? Alright, that's a cheat code, bro. You just put the left down up right LBRB on me and shit. I ain't even peep that, bro. That's not even fair. I ain't even got the basic load out on me. I ain't even got a shank, nigga. But like it just drove home the point, like, you do got to be careful out here going to events because you do never know what's going to happen. Like he wasn't like threatening us or nothing, but he was really just saying like, if somebody did walk up wanting to shoot some shit like this, would you really have him? Like, would you really be able to deal with what happened? I'm like, nigga, I ain't even have a strap at the time, so like, it really did give me perspective in that moment. Like, and now, mind you, we are open carry state out here. You don't even need a license no more. So, I'm not gonna advocate gun violence on any level, but I will say if you're an artist, definitely travel knowing and be careful and be safe. And like honestly, I would say if you don't carry a pistol with you, at least have somebody on them who has something on them just in case something happens.
Okay. That's good advice. Honestly, I've heard of a lot of people not getting out of situations that it hurts.
I mean, yeah, and I got a lot of homies who didn't even get the chance to use their gun. So the gun ain't a guarantee. The best thing is observance and just being aware of your surroundings. That's really the biggest things because I mean, it's not hard to peep when somebody's around you on some shady shit. I'm gonna be real with you, especially in the streets. You learn that quick. If you can't peep enmity from a person, you will die.
Yeah, yeah, that's that's real. All right, we're gonna move on a little bit. Still
Get some brighter shit, maybe.
Yeah, we're gonna definitely get into the next one's a definitely big brighter subject, and it's gonna make you very happy because I want to get into how you met me, how you met Sid, how you met GOODBREW, how how do you work with them, how's your life with them because. As you say, you got serious in 2016, and that's when we were on Christmas. That's when we were established. So it's like you knew me before a computer. I was just
I met y'all at what, DSW first time? Yeah, so I met you there. You also said you was at Bear Essentials though too.
That was
So,
way before I met you, though. That was like not way before, but right before because
but what I'm saying is though I was around there at that same time. So it's funny how like in a certain cyclic way you could have met me, and it's like I'll say this too. It's a little unfortunate to me, but I mean I'm not gonna say it's unfortunate because everybody gotta get their money and everybody gotta grind how they do. But I did notice there's a lot of artists that work in these warehouses. Like I would meet a bunch of artists, like a lot of the artists that I got familiar with from like what 2013 to like 2018 18 it was pretty much like through warehouses or through my jobs and shit like that wherever I would be working. Once I got out the warehouse, I still would meet artists that was working, and that was another thing too that kind of drove home the point to get a job and keep money coming in type shit. Because it's like, you go back to that comment where you heard an old head say the shit to you. Don't quit your day job. At first you think they're just talking shit, but they really actually came giving you some game for real. They're like, hey nigga, you gonna need money, bro. And it's not no bullshit. Like you gonna need money because otherwise you gonna have to rely on somebody else's money or what somebody else got if you don't got it. And that's why it's best to grind for yourself. And that was the thing that we all was on at that point in time. So like when I met y'all, y'all wasn't just trying to do things with like y'all were trying to make your own beat. To me, like I'm like, if they want to be their own producers, like that tells me that they really want to grind this out. Like, cause I had homies who started doing that, gave it up. I ain't gonna lie, even I considered it, but for me, the reason why I didn't do it is because I write stories. I'm doing all kind of other like content with writing and stuff like that. Like I'm trying to be enmeshed in the writing process. I don't want to have to switch my thought thinking process to that. Like if I'm going to be doing something like that, I'd rather be doing like coding and something like programming on the side, and rather than like engineering and shit like that. I wouldn't switch my mind. That's weird, but I guess that's just how it works for me. But so I like at the time where I'm like what 2013, I'm started with AOE. So I'm also with a group. Before AOE though, I was with my group D4 Dub, my homeboy Keon, and they were like the ones who really like they really actually was the first ones who made me feel confident in my self as a rapper and going on a song by myself, because that was where one of my homies like really like took me to the side and was like, yo, your shit really like actually is dope for real, for real. And also I kind of got shaded from somebody too around that time, and that was what kind of realized like I like I started being a little iffy about people I would be around, just because like seeing random shade and being like, all right, I don't know what the fuck is up with that, but whatever. Like you just kind of keep it pushing, because it's like, bro, I'm not even making money off this shit at this point. If I was making like a nigga 10 bands or some shit off of the shit I just did right then and there, okay, cool, bro, I get your shade, bro. But like if I'm literally doing the same shit as you, bro, and you really in a better position, low key type shit, because you like here all the time. Like I'm just popping up on some random shit. Like I ain't even locked in with them like that. Like it's just I'm just coming through because these my niggas. And like I don't know. Like after a while, I started kind of moving solo, and then I ended up linking with like AOE, and then that kind of situation started going like weird, like funky. Like my nigga, them are still my niggas, but the group broke apart for like separate reasons. Really, like as far as like artistic is some complete whole other shit that I can't even get into. But I just know that like shit hit the fan and with one of the homies on that shit, and there's certain shit you can't stand behind and you can't get with. It's just that's what it is. It ain't really no way to.
Is that the shirts you and
You talking about the pyramid shirt? Yeah, that was the main one of the main things that we had. I ain't gonna lie, that was the main reason why it sucked leaving that, because it was like I felt like it had a strong brand at that point in time. And when I left them, and I was around the time I started to mess with y'all, is what kind of the reason why like when I would come to Good Brew, when I was working with them, it was like you mentioned it back in the day actually. You would say like, but you mentioned it in a more like current mode, I guess. And you just thought it was just that, but it was more so you thought it was the tragedy of my Carrie situation that was affecting my writing, but really I was kind of getting back into like I was backsliding into like kind of like a retrograde in my mind. It's like doing like that old writing style as I used to have, because you was like you kind of like your songs you do privately are different than the songs you do with us. And I'm like, although I will say still too, it does bring back the point to the main point. The songs I did with y'all were always meant to be like funner songs. I wanted to have more fun. I wanted it to be more flow. I wanted it to be something that people can enjoy, and not just like me trying to overwhelm the track with, yeah, I'm awesome, nigga. I'm the shit. You heard this superfluous, wondrous, vibrant, motherfucking nonsense spitting the bottom of my nozzle. Like, fuck all that shit.
yeah,
Like,
that's why I like when you're like honest, you like definitely put yourself on a pedestal, and it's like having people shout out my name or just Good Brew in general in a song makes me feel like good as an artist, knowing that somebody as good caliber and as talented as you is saying my fucking name. It's crazy.
but that sense, the synergy that it creates, and that's like why I fuck with it. And it's one of the reasons why, like, if you noticed, I ain't never jumped to join y'all. Excuse me. But I always mess with y'all. I always work with y'all closely. Ooh. And then I would say like the main thing for me is like I've always been kind of like okay since once I left the AOE it was like am I doing this like am I because when I started the first thing that I started making music with I didn't mention this is I wanted to see my homie shine because I wasn't really the main rapper. I knew my main thing is just writing in general. I write stories, scripts, poems, and all that shit. Like I'm really like actually trying to write prose, and you know I realized I just want to see my homie shine, and it wasn't a healthy mind state of going forward with the music because hip hop is not really necessarily music in general. The industry, if you're going to be going at it on a higher level, if you want to actually reach that level, isn't something I feel you have to do specifically saying, oh, I want to do it because I want to see this guy shine, I want to see that guy shine. Because once you shine and once you're up, you're going to be able to lend light to other people. It's like you can't give people talent. You can't give people skill, but you can go to those people who you know have talent and have skill and give them a voice and give them a stage and give them an opportunity to, reach broader audiences. And I feel like that's the main goal. So, but I was like, to do that, you have to want to do it yourself. So, like, at that point, I just kind of firmed, like, going back to the looking at my phone, seeing all these, I would have mad broken verses. And I mean, I'm not broken verses, but verses rather than full songs. And I wanted to get full songs for myself, and that's like around like just starting to make full songs. Once I got into that period with like y'all, like you would just come here, you would just give me beats. Like you didn't realize the pressure you was putting on me at the time, but you was like, I would realize like, oh, he doesn't even want to hop on this with me. He's just giving me the beat to like, hey, I feel like you can do something to this, and I'd be like, all right, what the fuck I'm about to do though? And I would just freestyle
Like knowing your talent and knowing you so long, dude, I've always put you on a pedestal to try to make you shine. No matter what, giving you those beats like made me feel like you're gonna slaughter this, and he usually does. And there's hundreds of songs you made in here. Honestly, it's at the
yes,
hundreds points. It's at hundreds points, and then most of them were just us shooting shit.
yeah. But I mean, that's one of the funnest things I think happen though. And also for as far as growing as an artist, that is one of the biggest things I think that it helped me with is like actually being comfortable in my art. Going back to the point of where I said earlier, well, when we was talking before, all of this was like, at one point I was worried as a kid, like with my poems, I was like, damn, but what about when I run out of something to say? Like this is the genuine thought in my head. I was like, I didn't even realize that what I was contemplating was the concept of writer's block before I had ever even had writer's block, and it was actually fun as fuck. I never really had writer's block either, too. That's funny, and I think now that I think back on it, I think that's why. It's because I was already thinking about writer's block and what the fuck. Yeah, I was like, what the fuck do I do when I can't do? like, and that shit just kind of shaped me as like, especially as a rap artist, because I don't know, it's less of being able to write hot lines and more of but just when I have nothing to say, like, what do I do when I just have nothing to say? I feel like I have nothing to say. It kind of grew and translated into that when it got into hip hop, and then I ended up answering in that one too, kind of in a way like I would just write songs every day, every single day. If I'm at work, I gotta write one song. The crazy part, I was really on my crazy man vibe when I would write like 3 and 4 songs at work and shit like that, and like all of them be like, okay, I just need to find a beat for this now, type shit.
There's a time where we were definitely inseparable to where you honestly had to write a song every day, or you weren't gonna be able to fucking sit in the studio and record the song because you're very tedious with your craft, and if you don't have something fully as an idea,
Yeah.
I've heard beautiful freestyles that you say
Like there's certain songs that I like or I heard after I did it, and I was like, nah, I don't like the way that rolls off the tongue, or I don't like the way that sounds,
oh my god, he just did that.
bro. And I think that's like, cause even Elliot, one of the best people, he's like he's written Grammy winning songs. He still posts stuff on Instagram, and he'll still do that. Like he'll say like, hey, should I post this? And I'm like, here, I'm like, I hope that he's doing it more so just to like get the reaction out of people and to kind of like tease it a little bit to him too. But part of me also feels like it's more so that genuine artist insecurity that we all have. Because even another close friend of mine, Shane, he's like on the same tip, and we kind of like just had this like communication on Instagram, like, yo, just drop that shit, it's fire, yo. Like I fuck with it, you know. I'm my ears. I'm not just gonna tell you. Like I said, I'm not just gonna tell you it's fire if it's not fire. Especially if we on the Instagram post, I ain't even gotta react to this. I don't even gotta let you know I seen it. But if I saw it and I know it's fire, I'm gonna comment on it. I'm gonna let you know. But like I feel like there's this hesitance that we all have. Like that's why like I have 100 songs in my playlist. There's like at least a good 70 of them that will probably never actually be officially released, but it goes back to the thing where one bro told me on some Kendrick shit, bro, like, but there's songs for me, there's songs for that's my soundtrack to my life. Like, I listen to this is for me. And I can continue to disseminate those songs and that vibe. Like, even I don't really recycle lines like that, but if it's something where I know, like, oh, this is something that I can do later, like, Michael Jackson made multiple versions of his hit songs like until that before they hit. I can't remember the exact certain ones, but it happens. A lot of artists do that. They'll create that sound and that energy before they get that one that really like hits for them. And it's like as I was just going as an artist, once I reached LAE, you know, I would be sitting with Wall and he'd be like, man, I feel like you just like try to make every song a hit. I'm like, first of all, I'm not. But if you feel like I'm trying to, that means I'm getting damn close. So let me do what I do, bro. Like type shit. That's my nigga too. But you know, I felt like even at that studio, that was the point where I realized like you really gotta kind of mesh with somebody, bro. Because I don't talk about the LAE situation a lot, bro. But there was just a lot going on that wasn't in place. And for the artist, like you can't be an artist and not understand how to approach another artist if you want to be the label head because at the end of the day, you yourself are an artist. So if you don't understand where I'm coming from, that just tells me like we both looking at the artist from an extremely different degree, or like there's just like I feel like we're not doing it at the same caliber then. Because for me, it's like it's certain shit you know that I'm just going to do. Like you know that I'm going to be on it with this. Like when we would argue a lot in the studio, it wouldn't even be arguments. He called it arguments, and I was like, bro, I'm just telling you my thought process in this, you know. Like, and it goes back to a conversation I had with bro, like where I realized, oh, and this is like where it goes to say, like when you have people who are invested or at least so-called invested, feel that they're invested, and you know, it's not a conversation. I didn't realize that it wasn't a conversation. It was he. That's what the problem was. That's why he proceeded as an argument. But it would be just like, and that was where like gradually once that situation fell off, we would have like 2 hours to record out the week, and I'm like, bro, I need more time than that, bro. I got 100 songs I'm sitting on, hundreds of songs I'm sitting on. I'm not possibly about to get ahead of my pipeline with this timeline, bro. It's not even possible. So like with me, once I broke away from that situation, like 2020, bro, I just pretty much been doing like home sessions with my nigga Juan and coming here doing the songs with Good Brew. And that's my recording process now. And my most comfortable is having my homie Juan or whatever engineer I'm going to come to my crib or go to their space and go there. Like there's him, this cat Young Deal, who I still want to introduce you to still. And there's just like the way I like to do it is where you're able to be comfortable instead of feeling like, you know, one, you're being rushed too. Because a lot of times, I don't know, some engineers' energies just be off. Like they be like, when I'm here with you, it's like I'm sitting with a homie. When I'm there with them, like you can feel the business end of it, where it's like they're not attached to it, and it's like, I mean, that's cool. I'm not. You can't ask somebody who don't know you to be emotionally attached to your shit. It don't make sense. It's business for him. He records probably hundreds of people in a month. What makes you shine? But it's like that, just that lack of like that connection with certain like sessions just kind of made me like, okay, I want to be with somebody who's really like in tune with the session and gives a fuck about the session, because that's when you produce the best shit, with somebody who actually gives a fuck about what you're doing in that moment. Because if you do something that is a little decent, but he knows you could do it better, or it just needs one more take, possibly just push it a little bit more, they'll do that. They'll say that. And that's what I feel like is the difference between having someone who really knows what they're doing, is trying to produce a real song, and, you know, someone who's just sitting on the keys, just.
Yeah, I understand because it's like it's hard to critique your music because I've known you for so long, and every time you get better and better and better, and it's pleasing for me to see, but it's hard to critique. It's hard to critique as a friend, to where like I'm always excited for the next song you make.
I mean, that's fire though.
I'm always excited for the next Wu Sada song, whether it's with us or you're solo. Like you said, I'm so down to see you do what you do.
And that's what I fucks with for real, and same with the group. Like I'm always waiting to see what the next song is, and even as y'all group over the years, I peep like, oh yeah, they get better with it. Like they keep going, they're learning, they're doing different shit. Like I'm like, all right, okay, cool, bet. And I only say that because I've known people who I've known to be rapping since like literally like back in the day, and they still do the same shit. They still make the same mistakes sonically, and I'm not trying to like school people or nothing like that, but I mean, when there's millions of people doing the thing you want to do, you have to do it at the highest level that you can do it. And if you've been doing it for a long time, but you haven't improved, to me that says that you don't have either the drive to do that, or you just don't care to learn it, whatever reason you don't care to learn it, or you just don't really have the mind for it. If you don't have the mind for it, it can't be forced, but that can be overcome with by ethic, because you at least can put forth an effort to kind of like compensate for that. But it's like I don't see that. I just instead see like random shit.
It's crazy because you've heard like my whole career and you've seen every little teeny step of our progression with our voices and our sound and everything. And to where we dropped a tape with you and everything. Like, honestly, with GOODBREW, how was that experience with making a tape with us and all that?
Man, it's pretty much been one of the, like I said, freer aspects of making music. Because when I make the songs, I'm not just going at it from oh, this specifically has to be pure hip hop. And like it gets into the stylistic. I'm able to approach it from my philosophical mind state of the stylistic thing of like, it's hip hop, but it don't just gotta be straight bars. Like because people act like hip hop has always just been straight bars. Like that's been the main facet and aspect of it. Like, bro, let's be real. Like a lot of real hip hop classics aren't the classics that they are without the samples that are in them, without the singing that's involved in them. And it's like, so like when people see like that, hear the singing coming out of artists and rappers, and they be like, oh, that's not rapping though. I'm like, why ain't it though? Why ain't it hip hop? Why ain't it with the culture? Why it's the same thing. It's got the R&B funk soul. It's got the pop spirit. It's got the we've even Nas X's. We got the country vibe and are able to be intermixed and our shit. Like we know that we can do multiple things just in our style shit. Sometimes it's as simple as an inflection in your voice, but people play around and they act like hip hop wasn't always, a very eclectic and multifaceted style and genre. Like, they separate b-boys from hip hop. They separate all that. And like when I come here, like literally on the back of the wall graffiti, one of the main staples of hip hop, man. People don't even think about that shit anymore. You see it out here. You see random graffiti in the city, but a lot of it is like years old. We got some newer pieces. I ain't gonna sit here and shit on that. We got some dope murals in the city actually. But when I come here, like I said, I feel like I'm in the hip hop culture. Like I look around, I see anime posters. It's always been the room is always. I want to comment on the shifting room, the way the room shifts. Like how we would come here and like I would always see like my niggas shit be different. I'd be like, God damn, bro, what the fuck? I was like, am I in the same place, bro? What you even? When did you? How did you do this? Would you do this? But and then like with
Beds in here and all
well,
sorts of different things.
all
But
the
then it comes down to accommodating.
yeah, but that's the part I was about to get to. Like for all the different sessions we've had, because there've been some characters, some real characters that have come through here. From like the Ron Ricos to the good ones to the what was one bro's name? He the one Northside cat. Can't remember his name off the top of my head. Jiggy, yeah, that old nigga Jiggy, man. He like, and then you got like I said, cats that like Sid would introduce me to, his homeboys and stuff like that. Hunter, rest in peace, all that, like all the nights here, like, and also again too is a good nod to the experimental phase of my life and shit like that. Cause I mean, like, I had a lot of fun like with the homies in general, that we would just get on the mic and just do shit. Like the first time I sung on a song, this nigga Sid just looked over at me and said, "Yo, I think I want to sing on this song." I was like, "Shit, I'm trying to sing some shit too." He was like, "Fuck it, let's do it." And I just within that motherfucker, like it's just from there, it's just a matter of growing and learning. Like even to that last song that I did last night with y'all, like literally, I was over here talking with bro, and I was like, it's cool chatting with you, bro. But hold on real quick, I want to kind of see what they're doing over here and see if I can lock in on something because I was hearing something I liked, and that was really the right reason why I came over.
We're always our ability to work with other artists is, um, it's frivolous. It's literally like something that we have thousands of songs. Please ask us to hop on this because we will let you.
But but it's not a skill to be undervalued though. Working with other artists because like a lot of people in the game are like from what I hear when people they're kind of difficult to work with, and I've also ran into quite a few artists who are really difficult to work with. Like they just either don't send back verses or they just act like you never even contacted them about this shit, and it's like hey, okay, cool, bro. Just know I'm gonna remember that. But it's like when it come here, it's a genuine. Like I said, it's no uppityness about it. It's like if anything, if somebody's already on it or it's already something that's done, y'all just be like, hey, nah, this song's already done, and I can't be mad at that because I done had plenty of songs where I done had my homies, my cousin, even rest in peace to him, where he would ask me like, yeah, let me get on that. Some of the songs from here, what do you call it? No Degree, whole clip. He wanted to be on that so bad. I ain't gonna lie, I feel bad about that one too though, cause he wanted to be on that so bad. But I'm gonna be real. I just didn't want to bring him here, cause he's like,
Who was it again?
it's my cousin. He gang, but he like too gangster, bro. But put it like that, bro. Like I really, and I'm like, if something popped off or he like got disenchanted for whatever fucking reason, I know for a fact I'm gonna have a difficult time stopping this motherfucker and undoing whatever damage he did. So I was like, yeah, nah, I can't even bring my fam around, man. But that was one of those like he really wanted to be on that song type shit. But I was just like, I don't know what you gonna be like in the studio with my niggas though. And there's a lot of young niggas. I can't have you popping off on one of these young niggas because they say some random shit to you or whatever the fuck. You just have a moment or something like that. And then there's a lot of people too, even from my hood, who I wanted to bring around type shit. But I'm just like, nah, only you like a variable. I got good homies though. I will admit I do got good homies.
With the selection of people that you brought in here, I'm not joking. You have brought in an ungodly amount of respectable people that I have enjoyed for years and years to come.
I bring specifically the people who I know is about their music.
Moon is a big example.
Like they're about their music.
My Mike Carey is also a big example. God rest his soul. But like,
rest in peace.
I'm so fucking happy to still have Moon coming here non-stop because I met you, and you gave me that lean to it, and he literally tells me all the time, like right before I went to Vegas last time, we had a big talk, like me and him by ourselves, about how much great opportunity we have because you brought him here. And he was just so thankful for this environment.
Like I told him, he just come here, have fun, vibe out. If you fucks with it, you fuck with it. And like I said, with people, usually I find you don't have to force them to have a rapport. All you have to do is create the bridge for them, and usually they'll connect naturally. It's like what I find with people who are developed enough mentally. Because sometimes you got people who you got to kind of lean along a little bit. They're a little slow to the take. But, bro,
you got to joke around with them and
get
their fucking comfort and trust them.
Like that. You got to get them to their comfort and trust.
Like, what, you brought too many people here? I thought you were only coming by yourself, and they all look at each other. I'm just joking. Get in here. I'm just like, I'm joking. Get in here. They're all laughing. They're ready to come.
Defuse it. Break the ice with people a little bit, and that's like I said. Another thing too. I'll say what it is. It kept the social aspect of hip hop in mind for me. Because even as solitary as I am, I always do know like you gotta fuck with the people who is also doing it too, especially if you got people who's doing it on the level you doing it. Like work with them, bounce things off their head, sharpen yourself as they sharpen themselves. As they say, man, sharpest man is steel sharpens steel. So it's
You're one of the only 4 artists I know in here that can one take it just like me. I'm not joking. It's tough to do that. A lot of people second guess their own music and all that, but we have unwavering faith of what we wrote down on our phone
Yeah.
and the way we're trying to get it out, even if it's a day before. We got to those moments in our lives to where, you know, it wasn't, you had to do it that day or it wouldn't sound right. But you are also a writer and everything, to where I know you dig deep in the words you write. It's like,
Care about my shit, man.
yeah, it's like literally like staining it into a piece of paper.
Like you,
let alone on your phone.
that's what I literally last night. That's exactly what it was. I think I only had to make like maybe 2 revisions on that piece of paper in that verse that I was writing.
It's crazy because you got it in what, 3 takes? And
Yeah,
the first
and I was
take
worried.
good.
I was worried that the cadence wasn't gonna work. I was at first because I was going off of the like basically doing an extended version of the what you were doing in the chorus, but carrying it throughout the fucking verse type shit, and then trying to account for like the verse changes and the shit like that, the pitch shifts in it. It was a fun, like I said, it's fun because it's like I heard someone say it in a comment in a song when it was doing the review to the Drake thing. I can't. I'm sorry, I can't help but listen to review things because sometimes they do have good points. But and he but like the one he brought up where he was like, you know, he commented on how like he liked how Drake had a sonic direction, like a melodic direction for the songs. Like a lot of the song, the melodies in the songs are like going in a certain direction. Like you can see them coming together. And he said before, as he said before, in a lot of his songs, it would just kind of like be aimless. Notes just drop on you randomly. You get like a line here and there. Like now it's like it's actual meter and cadence to it, and that's what I've kind of liked in mine. Like, especially with that, I felt like even with that one, that was one of the ones where I started paying a little bit more attention to that, and it was a good attempt to practice it too. And that's the biggest thing too is like I'm not afraid to practice and put the stuff into practice that I'm like actually working on and like skills I'm trying to integrate. I feel like that's a very important thing as an artist. Like, and that's like I said, just being here. That's pretty much what I've gained. I've gained armory of like skills that I just like keep stocked up and I'm just like ready for whenever.
Hell yeah.
That's what it's all about, and is being as skilled as you possibly can and putting it to the fullest. All right, well let's get on to the next question. Before we go into the views, I want to ask you like 2 more questions about your life and everything.
All right.
These ones are a little bit, especially to your to your life's like cadence. Staying on the rap before I go a little bit. Give me a little bit of the talk about, you know, how you feel about Sada Baby. How do you feel about Sada Baby and people referring to you having a similar name? Like I know it's always a thing when I tell people I'm like I'm about to go record Wu Sada and they're like, oh, Sada Baby? And I'm like, no, Wu Sada.
Sada Baby. Hey man, I ain't got no problem with Bada, but it was funny as hell because the first time I heard it, I was like, oh, there's a guy named Sada Baby. I was like, well, I would be concerned if there literally was like not a case of like we have what, how many dudes that have baby in their name?
The hell's little baby, the baby, tons.
Like, and then like once I just thought about that, I was like, shit. I'm cool being me and him being him because we both make 2 different types of music. Honestly, it would be fire to get a song. He ain't nothing but in Detroit. Well, I mean, he might not be in Detroit now, but he might be somewhere else doing this thing abroad and shit. But he ended up but in Detroit based, so like shit, working with the nigga would be fun for me. So for me, I feel like seeing cats like that and just seeing them rise up, it just lets you know too. Also, hey, it in my mind it created like the knowledge like nothing is too what would I say? Nothing is unique or nothing is new under the sun type shit. And also another thing I look at it as is it's just a quick way to get people familiar with my name. They know how to say my name now without ever even meeting me. I won't have people saying Wu Sada.
Yeah, honestly, segueing into that with the same question, which I have a couple more for your rap. Like, what's your name about? What does it stand for, and what's your music stand for?
Well, when my whole rap name really officially was supposed to be Wu Sada the Crazed Jester, or the Crazed Jester Wu Sada, I should say. But I shortened it to Wu Sada. I still go by the Crazed Jester as like a pseudo name in my songs, and I'm probably still gonna also eventually release under the Crazed Jester as well. But the Crazed Jester is the name I would say that fits my personality and represents my ego, because that was literally like what has been like my handle on like media and shit like that for the longest time, because it just represents my mind state.
I literally, when I was shouting out your artist profile and everything, I literally put, you know, shout out to the jester himself. You know, because I know you enjoy that. You know,
It's fun to poke fun a little bit, man. And that's pretty much like what life has been about. And then like that name, like I said, it just for me it embodied coming out of like that wild hot boy lifestyle from the hood and shit like that. It just made it all was a way to turn it into something positive, a positive way to channel the energy rather than being on some extra negative shit and shit like that. So and then Wu Sada, honestly, I just wanted to have my name in my artist name. Like that was really a big thing for me. I was like, I don't want to go by like some random fucking shit that's weird to me because I'm gonna feel weird at some point in time. No, like I mean, like when I say random shit, I mean like something like I couldn't think of anything that like was cool enough for me to be like, damn. Like if I would have thought of some shit like Goldfang or Space Light, I'd have ran in that. Y'all have met me and I'd be like, yo, my name's Space Light, bro. But that type of shit wasn't coming to mind. I'm sitting here thinking like Woohoo, Bantam man, Shaka Sadas, fucking stupid shit. I was like, nah, bro, fuck all that shit, bro. I was like, bro, like some crazy shit. I was thinking about some crazy shit, but like I was thinking about calling myself LZ. I low key was still leaning towards the LZ one, but I was like, nah, it's because niggas gonna be like, where did it come from?
so like it's standing for like Sada is obviously your name. Like,
And
what
then
is a Wu part?
Wu means master. I want to be a master at my craft. So and I am. And I look at myself as a master of my craft. So Master Sada.
Oh, yeah. With that, what's your music stand for?
My music.
With having that as like Master Sada is out here preaching to the world with his ideas and his views on what he's lived through and embody that into his music. What is you?
There's
what
no
is your
overall
gimmick
theme.
you're trying to get across.
There's
your
no
idea.
overall theme or gimmick, I would say. But I will say that my music is supposed to represent the highest hope of humanity, the realities, sometimes the dismal realities as well. They're not always going to be bright ones. Sometimes we address, what we feel too. And like another thing I try to capture is the emotional aspect of the human mind and the emotional connection. And I don't really mention like brands and stuff like that in my music, so you can safely assume that if I just start randomly dropping that shit, it's something that I either fuck with or I'm probably being compensated to mention. But other than that, like I try to keep it pure and try to keep it. I like I said, I write prose, poems, and things like that. So I try to keep the style poetic too. And I always try to do something to help people's philosophical mind going. So I'm disseminating my basically breaking down my spiritual beliefs, interweaving them into my songs, but I'm not trying to make it so overbearing that say if someone from an entirely different faith or of just of a devout faith heard it and was like, oh, I don't like this because it's like that. Like, no, I want it to be something where they can take it and apply it to their approach to spirituality as well. Their outlook on life, maybe give them a different perspective on what they're viewing and what they're seeing and what they're experiencing in life. Help some kids, get through their tough times. And I'll say the biggest thing, I think every real artist says, in my opinion, on some level, and craves is to be the soundtrack to people's lives. Like that's basically the goal. Like, I want my songs to be something that somebody, when they look back at it, they can apply it to a happy time. Sometimes it might be attached to a sad time, but I hope that that song can carry them and bring them some form of nostalgia and link them to that period in their life. Because I have that experience with a lot of songs, like when I mentioned Wiz, when I mentioned Drake earlier, when I mentioned Inspector Deck, Redman, Method Man, Snoop, all of them, Biggie, Pac, like all those songs like Wayne, especially too. Smoke as much as you want, one more drink. And like all those songs, all those songs for me, like they really like they drove home a point of they made me want to do something more with the music that I was doing. Kind of back to the point too of what I said before of I was hearing, not hearing. I used to always have a favorite new song in hip hop. Like always, there was always something new that I was listening to and would be my next favorite song. I was always waiting for what my next favorite song would be. I've kind of gotten back to that period now, but it's more so on the exploratory level than the new stuff coming out and coming at me. And it was like that point where I was like, I just want to give people like good songs, and I also want to inspire other artists too. Like, it's kind of like the reason why, like, when somebody says, "I want to be your favorite rapper's favorite rapper," like, I want to be the guy that inspires like the artist too.
Oh, that's honestly a great segue into the next question, which that was great. That was great. Listen, that was a great listen. Honestly, just being here and experiencing this interview is really fucking awesome. But what's your favorite song you think you've ever made? Your favorite mainstream artist song that they've ever made, and your favorite song from somebody you know personally.
My favorite song, I've already released it. It's called Inches to Miles, and I plan to still do a video to it eventually, but I just kind of released it because I was holding on to it for a while, and I was like, it was a beat that was given to me by my homeboy Makai. I just showed him some songs, and he was like, "Yo, what the fuck?" Like he was really fucking with my shit, and he was like, "Yo, I got these beats that my homeboy gave me. He stopped making beats, but I'm not gonna do shit with these motherfuckers." He's like, he gave them to me, like he just gave them to me, like I can't do nothing with them though. And so he like gave me this beat, and like one day I was just sitting, I was actually trying to make, I was listening to that beat and trying to put a whole other song to it and write a whole other song to it, actually. And it just wasn't working, bro. But then like, so I'm sitting there though, I'm in the car, like so I'm still living on Elaine at the time too, and I'm just like sitting in the car vibing, bro. It's like a rainy day, and I don't know, I just heard. Like, when you hear a cadence in your mind, like you hear a word, a phrase, because I had recited the Inches to Miles, like cadence, I already had it like lock stocked in my brain type shit. And I just kind of heard it. I just kind of heard it in there, and I was like, so now I pulled it up, and I like start reciting it to the beat, and I'm like, damn, this shit goes perfect with this fucking beat. Like it goes eerily perfect with it. And that was kind of where I started getting in my bag with like songs too. I say that song is my favorite, but honestly, I'm gonna be real. My favorite song is usually the most recent song that I've just made, just because that's the one that'll typically have like everything that I've gained up till then compiled into it. That would be. I gotta look at my phone. I can't. It would be. I think it would probably be Mrs. Joanne right now, because I redid that one recently. Let me look at this real fast. No, it would be the song I did last night with y'all. Then technically, that's my favorite song.
For real?
That's my favorite song because it's the most recent one. If we going on technicality, but for real though,
Deep as fuck, bro.
and but for real though, and then like I said, like when it came to Inches to Miles, that one I literally cried when I actually recorded that
I'm
song.
not joking.
And
If
I
you
heard it.
look back on my Instagram, I'm Spacelight, you will see the first ever thought of that even being put out to the public. I still have the AMV I made for you back in the day on my Instagram.
That's
It'll
crazy.
forever sit there.
Yeah, bro. Like, I cried.
Years and years
I
ago.
cried when I made that song. I'm not gonna lie to you. I
It
really
was
did.
honestly, I felt so blessed. Like you and Mike Gary showed me a lot of your like your songs before it. Like I'm not joking, Levitate crushed me when it came out.
Man, man, especially when you know what
Because
they really
it
gonna sound
reminded
like.
me if somebody ever put Inches to Mile on another beat,
Man,
I would kill them.
Man,
I would
man, man.
be a very mad human being.
Yeah, levitate the way they did that song. I mean, like I don't wanna shit.
I heard it.
You feel me? Cause I don't know who produced it, so I don't want to shade the producer. But it's just like, Like, yeah, it's not. It's no shade to the producer. It's just if they even heard the original, they would be like, yeah, bro, there's nothing. I can't even. I can't even get close to that. Like, it's like there's no way. It's
They
like,
had to have the whistle.
but it's like, bro, they just didn't. I don't think they had rights to the beat. They could. I think the beat sold exclusives, so they had to get a different one for it. Man, if I had to say though, now I want to move on to. I'm not gonna lie to you. If we talking, are we talk? Do I have to stick specifically to hip hop? If I say my favorite song made by another artist, or what?
Mainstream, just mainstream. Like everybody knows this person's name. It has to be something that everybody can
I'm
know.
saying no hip hop though.
No, any. Your favorite song of all time by you, somebody mainstream and somebody that you know. And it could be any song, but it has to be somebody that people will honestly know the name. You'll be like, look,
Foo Fighters, Everlong. Like that song, like man, I don't know. It captures a period of my life for me too, and it also catches a certain aspiration, which I'm not gonna get too deep into. But the romanticization of the life that we live, and the longing that we have interwoven into our paths in this life, and it just embodies a lot of the feeling that I have in my spirit, and it's one of those they're like I really love their group too because like David Grohl started with Nirvana, but like his career went like so far beyond that. And it's beautiful to me because, the big highlight of his career didn't end up being, his the RIP to like, you know, RIP. Like we know what happened to his homie, but we don't want to have that be the highlight for everybody's story in hip hop or music in general. I feel like in music there's a lot of grim stories. Like we don't really get too deep into it, but there's a lot of like grim stories in it. So it's like seeing somebody like that come from that era that just wants to fucking all he started doing was wanting to bang drums and let motherfuckers hear that drum as loud as fucking possible. To now he's the front man for his group and everything. Like yeah, I fucks with it. I love it. It's beautiful.
now by somebody you know.
By a song by somebody I know. I can't even remember the name of it for real though. So I'm gonna just have to name the artist. But my homeboy Ink James did like this whisper song, like in the spirit of like Wu Tang, not Wu Tang, Yin Yang twins. I meant to say. Then like, bro, he would come to like live sets with us. Ink James too, by the way. They can look his name up. So he would come to like live sets. We would be doing like open mics in the city. It's like what 2018, 2019 maybe. I think it's like 2019, maybe 2020. I'm like, I was seeing him. I'd be like, because he showed me the song one time. I heard him do it once. And after that time, whenever I would run into him, especially at an open mic or something like that, or one of the little like kickbacks where we like just performing and shit, I'd be like, hey, yo, you know what song I want to hear, bro. You know what song I want to hear, man. And I was just, because like, but to be fair though, he's way past that song too though, stylistically. He's doing like my nigga on his rock star shit. Like he doing like fire shit. Like so like, that's like for me, that's one of the ones like I love it. Like I fucks with it super heavy. Yeah.
It's powerful, dude, and that's why I embody this question in anybody so they know the appreciation of their music, and that's gonna feel great for him to probably listen back to this interview and hear.
Oh yeah, good time in that
Top
shit.
song.
Yeah, I shouted you out that shit, my nigga.
Yeah.
I'm gonna let him know though for real.
Right. Okay, Sada. I want to still get back into your like life. I want to keep going into it. There's so much to talk about. Obviously, you talked about it earlier. I want to get into your books and like tell me more about like how you got into it. Some stuff about your books that you're writing, and this contest that you recently entered that you told me about how it did or how you think it did or is going.
All right. I got into writing at my dad's shop when it was 7. Like basically to keep me and my brothers out of, tearing this shop up and stuff like that. We would just be running around, going crazy, hiding in his clothes racks, doing all kinds of shit. He got tired of that, so he would just have us write up like 2 pages a day, and I just kept up the skill. Really, it started from my imagination because I ain't really had no friends in like kindergarten, early school, and shit like that. So I would just like sit there and just imagine and shit. And I would be like in a whole world of my own, just like making up stories and shit like that. After a while, I ended up getting friends and shit like that. So I was able to bring like a good amount of fun when they would have like their little imaginary fantasy games and shit like that. And that was where I was like able to keep cultivating kind of like that fantasy bone in my mind. And then just writing in general, like I said with THHC, I wrote THHC a compilation of stories. So I started really writing that to kind of sharpen my hand because I wanted to just get better. I was actually working on my main novel that I wanted to start with, the first novel, and you know I liked where the first chapter was going, but it started to be kind of that same thought that I told you about with the writer's block. Like, damn, but what do I do when I can't do? And I was just looking at it. I liked what I had written so much so far that I was like, okay, I don't know how to maintain this uh, momentum. I literally didn't know how to maintain a momentum in the story at the time. It was like 2016. And I was like, all right, bro, we'll take a step back. Let's work on some short stories and figure out what that momentum is. Because in the short story, the goal is to end the story. Is basically you have to end it. You're ending it as briefly as possible. Sometimes some of the short stories I've written have been like maybe 4 pages, 3 pages maybe. But that's in the spirit of like true short stories. But the longest ones have been I think like 23 pages, damn near. And then if we get into the contest I recently did, which is another challenge, I did that one too because I mean I have been writing a lot of stuff, but I haven't written anything that I truly wanted to publish and was like comfortable with 100% putting in front of people's eyes. So that was a thing for me. And I recently like was just looking up contests, really, actually, too, like I should say. And this thing, sci-fi idea, popped up, and I was just like, I like the idea of it. Like, it was talking about Dyson spears and stuff like that. So I'm like, oh, this is kind of cool, actually. And I was just like, oh, I already had a character kind of in cuff with it that I had been keeping that fit in line with that concept, and I just basically shifted him from the concept that I originally had him with to this one and fit him more accurately to it. He's like the father of AI in one of my stories, and he's still the father of AI. Well, Aya in this story, alternative intelligent awareness, which is basically artificial. I mean to say artificial uh, artificial intelligent awareness. Yes, artificial intelligent awareness, and basically it's just a different form of AI. That's all it really is, and it's essentially he ends up building, like I said, the Dyson Spear system, but he's also builds things called colossi in the story, which I kind of borrow from a little bit of Wuxia. I read a lot of Eastern novels and stuff like that, and I already love the concept of colossi in general. So in this way, I just wanted to modernize it and bring the colossi as like a megalithic space technology that we use to actually. Originally the colossi are used to cultivate and like mine asteroids and things like that and maintain geospheres within space. And then eventually in the stories it becomes weaponized technology, and that's where you get like the action feels for it. But yeah, I wanted to keep the strong undertone of his belief system behind it, and like and the contest. I feel like for the plot of the story, everything goes beautifully. And I to comment on how beautifully I feel it went. The name of the story was The Eclipse Project, and like I said, it starts. He basically turns himself into an a consciousness, not consciousness, but a digital consciousness in AI, pretty much. Like he digitizes himself, and he creates a system that is essentially a self-sustaining AI system that is able to roam on its own and create and connect to different systems of its own. And, and eventually, like once this whole story like ends, I've already got the plot for the second one because basically the AI ends up like that spirit of the AI, like because he had another AI that was working with him called Gaia, and Gaia ends up, yeah, I'm giving away a little bit of the plot, but but a little bit in there. Basically, I will say, all I will say is the follow up story that I came up with is I've already got the plot out to it. I'm just waiting to write on it because I'm working on a project right now. It's called the Gaian. The what is it? The let me remember it. The Gaian system, basically, and basically it's just going to be the AI that he left over is doing its own thing, and they realize it, and they're like, yeah, we got this activity, deep space. What? What kind of shit? I'm gonna go peep it. And like his proteges from the original novel end up going to go peep it, and that's where they encounter it. And they find this like it's like going to be its own, almost like you remember Omicron from fucking Transformers. It's gonna be like that, its own fucking planet of like AI type shit. Like it's building its own system and shit like that. And but yeah, that one's gonna be a fun one. I don't know exactly where it's gonna go, but like I said, the fact that the first one already lended to me a full plot for the other one, and the plot for the first one I feel for the contest is fully fleshed out. The minimum was 30,000 words. The maximum was 100,000. I definitely wasn't gonna work to push that at 100,000 because it just creates so much more of a window. One for like error, because basically, if I would have been pushing for upwards of like 60,000 or something like that, I would have did it just to involve the Gaian system plot as like a latter half to the novel, and that would have just been to complete it. Now, as it is, my story was about like at 100 pages on like just paper, so I imagine as a novella. I can't even. I really actually can't imagine because I haven't converted a novel quite yet like that. A novella, I should say. Um, but it will be shorter. It will be shorter. I imagine it'll be like 300 pages as like an actual book in your hand. Maybe about like 200. But it's 100 now, so it'd probably double. And then like for it though, I feel like the contest is fair too. They judge it on a fair basis. I saw the deadline was my birthday, and that's why I really applied for it. And on my birthday, I woke up. They extended the deadline because they didn't have enough people, I guess, submitting and shit like that. Because they didn't go live online for a while. They were just as like a local thing before, like on for like people who knew about it before they put it online and went live with their site. So with that shit, it was just for me, it was like I say, it was a blessing because it gave me time to edit that manuscript for real. Because I went back and reread it, like I swallowed my pride because I already submitted the original one that I had. But I went back, I was like, since they did extend that deadline, let's go look at that shit real quick. And I was like, yeah, bro, let's fix this bitch because there was like some glaring discrepancies and errors in it that I was looking at. I was like, okay, I can see where you fucked up, and I was just fixing those. And even still, going back and rereading it one more dry time and just like distancing yourself from the work, I was like, okay, I'm finding like I found honestly getting once I got through to page 50, only about maybe four syntaxical errors and like obvious typos, like but not like glaring typos that fuck up the like whole syntax of it, like throw you completely off from the meaning or anything. So at the end of the day, I'm just hoping that the plot and everything shines over the mistakes and that the mistakes are far in between enough that the judges put it over the top. Because I mean, there's 10 prizes, 10 grand prizes for the in the short list is 2,000 anyway. So like I said, the grand prize is 20K. So if I get that, then hey, it boosts the art. It boosts like gives me time to really work on some like what I'm actually trying to work on. But yeah, it was fun to really just write it. Like even if I don't get the prize, I know that story is something like I'm going to actually end up still going forward with it in the future and doing something with it because it's it's a very fun story, bro. Like it's so fun.
All right, so I want to get into a little bit more right before because that was a lot. Definitely understand because books mean a lot to you. Your books
Yeah.
mean a lot. But tattoo breakdown. Do you have any tattoos you wanna?
Yeah, I've got right now what I think four tattoos. Yeah, four tattoos. Gonna end up being five once I complete my set with my artist, and then after that, that's gonna basically end up being the merch. Two that I do with my music. The ones that I have on my shoulder are actually based off of Bagua, and I pretty much use those. And it's some symbols. It's a lot of, what would I say, the if you know about I Ching or about any of that, like Chinese I Ching, like it's basically uses the Bagua, the symbols, hexes, what is it? I believe hex symbols. So I can't remember the official name of it, but it basically uses those hexagrams. Actually, I meant to say. And one of them on this arm, it has jur, just or righteousness on this arm, and it's overseeing. It takes just on justice, I would say a just spirit and a righteous spirit to oversee properly and to basically control affairs. And then on this arm is the military, sense of logic, because one has to have good sense and one has to have logic. And then SOL also represents source of life. There's a few references in that one for me. Man, it goes a lot deeper. And then on this one, it's basically a symbol for my, like, it's a symbol for me. Like, I use Zaza in it. It's like made under like a full moon being funneled into the image of a sun. And then there's like the distillation of light, but it's represented in its own image that I put in it. And eventually it'll be unveiled. And like I said, the merchandise and shit like that, it'll be the left sleeve item. And then on the back side, I have the yin yang sun, which is a symbol I drew since I was a kid. And that has, like, basically, I just always loved the yin yang symbol because of what it represents. And outside of that, I added to it, like, it's like a 13 reed sun strike, but it's like a half sun. So it's like the number 13. I've always been attached to it. Honestly, I'm going to be real with you. I can't really say why. It just always stood out to me. And like maybe it's because fuck 12, but but really though, I don't know, it just always stood out to me, honestly. It was something that I always added in there for the spirituality behind it. And it just really actually, for me, it's been, like I said, the image I've been drawing since I was a kid. Like, I just kept it and put it on my body. And I pretty much designed all my tattoos. The final one that I'm gonna put on this arm is based off of a star, the North Star, and that's the direction I've been going with those. I'm gonna probably add my mother's initials around that one, since I have initials on this arm of mine. I'll probably add her initials to the star and my father's initials as well, and maybe go on in that line around it, put like my family's initials there or something. But I'm have to rethink that actually, because that's a lot of initials. That's too damn. That's too damn many initials. No, I'm not doing that. Sorry, fam.
All right, staying on the topic of your career still. What's the hardest bar you think you got?
Man, I heard some hard shit earlier that I didn't even remember I said, bro. Like, really was raw. But I'm gonna say this shit that what death defying. I can wreck a life, and I'm forever testifying. That's working with the science, far flung from blood rituals like the Mayans. Yeah, something like that one.
Ugh, those are all. Those are all. That's sick. All right. So, with that being your hardest bar, going back into the past, is there any old music, first music you want to shout out, or any new music coming that you're going to be releasing you want to shout out?
I still think Indo is one of my flyers drops. I ain't got the beat though. so, so it's on SoundCloud for free. I like that drop though. Inches to Miles also. That one is one I feel people need to go hear. And then coming out, I got a lot of songs, like I said, from the LAE period that I've been remaking because I didn't have the files from there to be able to get the masters, and I didn't want to just release the mixed version of the song. Yeah, it's cool and it's all right, but it's not what I wanted because I wanted the full finished product. So I've been remaking those songs, and honestly, there's a lot of songs I'm sitting on from there, like about 24. Really, it's about 40 that I had slated for that period. Thank God I only did about 20 of them. So I only have to really do exact about 20 songs. So I would say it's about coming people's way. And I'm just debating if I'm going to drop them all this year, or if I'm going to go on ahead and just hold them till 2024 and kind of go gun it 2024 era and just move with that. So I don't know. 2023 is a weird number to me. I like evens, not odds.
Hell yeah, hell yeah. All right, so going from that, uh, let's get into your views on certain things. Um, I'll obviously let you do shout out and different questions at the end.
Vote for Pedro.
um, let's get your views on psychedelics. What's your thoughts on them?
Man, I've only microdosed, I think, to be fair, of shrooms. Well, I tried the max dose, or at least I thought was gonna be a dose of like shrooms with one of them bars, but that shit didn't really hit. One of them chocolate bar things, them one up things and shit. That shit had me no up. Nigga, I was like, shit, I'm about to take a nap because I'm bored waiting for this shit to hit me. But shrooms, like the real thing, microdosed a little bit with the fam. I couldn't eat them all because them shits was nasty. I tried to eat them with hot Cheetos, though. That's so stupid. I don't recommend anybody ever try eating shrooms with hot Cheetos. It's the worst chaser. It doesn't do anything. It doesn't abate the flavor. It doesn't abate the texture. It's just nasty. Magnified hot nasty. Going down your throat to your esophagus. So I got a little bit of that before I could like I had to like, hey bro, I'm sorry, I ain't eating this shit. Take this shit, nigga. And like it had the Mechalite on it too and shit like that. Like I'm like, I ain't fucking with this shit, man, bro. Get this shit away from me, bro. But then that shit kinda like hit me and bro, I ain't gonna beat you. I ain't never drove and not had road rage once in my life, bro. When I drove off of that little microdose, nigga, I swear to God, I was the chillest nigga ever, bro. I was doing cordial shit on the road. I was like, God damn, what the fuck? I don't never do no shit like that. I'm high than a bitch, nigga. There ain't no way, bro. I was like, I just did some polite shit on the road. Hell nah, nigga. You just let that nigga go. All right, bro. I guess we driving like that. We cool today. Cool. Look, but nah, for real though, it made me realize how like not chill I am at all. Damn, that shit done touched my cup. I don't even want that cut no more. But yeah, man, that motherfucker, what do you call it? I was doing my one thing with like really feeling like I didn't even need shrooms for real, cause my imagination is too damn vivid, bro. I don't think I really need that shit. Like on some real shit, I think if anything, I might fuck around and put my mind in overdrive, go crazy.
Oh yeah, oh yeah. Going from that, what's your thought on people thinking the world's flat? Do you believe the world's flat?
Hell nah. If you think the world's flat, go walk off that motherfucker then. That shit is not flat. Bro, like I said earlier too, if like how does that affect people's day to day life? What do you do differently if the world is flat? Like, if it affects our day to day and we gonna do something different, if you about to tell me like I'm about to get some Dragon Ball Z abilities up out of this, hey, cool, all right, I'm with it, all right, bro. Lead me to the promised land, but it's probably not that though. If it's too good to be true, it's probably too good to be true. Or if it's bullshit, it's probably just bullshit. If it sounds like it, but it's like I said, I don't know. To me, it's just there's not enough science in it. I've read actual science, like and shit like that, and then into actual science. So like pseudoscience, I know the real line between that and the arguments that people make is like most of them are saying shit like basically you believe we living in the prison realm is what you say, like bro. I'm like basically you're beyond a glass half full guy. You're a full on pessimistic type shit. Like you believe your soul's about to get harvested after death type shit or something like that. Like so that's basically what you're telling me, like, bro. Like, that's what it is. Like, it's like, yeah, all right, cool, bro. Like, that's what you believe. You allowed to believe that, bro. Like, I don't believe everything that people believe about spirituality, but I definitely can't believe some like grievous claim on that. It's funny though. B.O.B. shouldn't have came out talking about that shit though.
All right, so going into the next question, what's your views on labels? On you know, them paying you millions of dollars for years of your life in service to them.
I mean, I probably wouldn't even want to ask them for millions. I would try to find the most profitable path for both parties moving forward. And I think that's what all artists should do if they're working with any kind of label. If I work with one, I just want the situation to be, fair for real. I've been hearing a lot of like people saying, hey, if you want to make as much money as a label, like that's unreasonable. That's unfounded. That's unfounded. I'm like, no. Why should that be unfounded when they literally base the economy of their whole business off of these artists, but you're telling the artists that they shouldn't have even close to a fair share of the pie? And we just keep getting told like we're just supposed to accept that, and I'm not gonna lie. Like I said, I'm not gonna play hardball with people, but I'm not gonna act like I'm not giving them something worthwhile and that I also cannot contribute to what they also do on a broader level as a writer in general type shit. So it's like going forward with that full front of that skill, I feel like labels are the same thing that they've been. They're an integral part of the game in the industry, but they also need to be fair and then people need to understand how they work with artists. Especially now though, we don't even really need them as much with like honestly, most people can go their whole career without even dealing with the label. They can go and do their own thing because you don't need million fucking fans. You really only need about 1,000 fans who fuck with your shit. And if they all that 1,000 people is investing in your shit, you won't be able to be straight. You won't be able to live as an artist reasonably.
Oh, yeah. All right, going from
More
there.
than thousands to go though.
Going from there, what's your views on like the world right now? As in like anything, whether it's like politics, you know.
I don't want to speak too much on politics because there's a lot of shit going the fuck on. Man,
How about you know, climate?
honestly, it's obvious, bro. If you're a thinking person, you look at the world, you can tell that the way we live life in society is not quite sustainable. There's a lot of things that need to be tweaked about, modern society, construction, pollution, all the things that we're doing. We're focused on it. We have many initiatives towards these things. So that's one of the aspects that I actually captured in my novel, and not novel, the story that I put into the contest is like, the zero emission initiative, things like that, like actually coming to fruition and what they will mean for the advancement of humankind and, society in general. And, I like to look into the hopeful side of it, fusion breakthroughs. I really want to see fusion. If we could see that come through in our lifetime, that'd be, I'm not gonna lie, that'd be something I'll be truly proud to see humans achieve. And, looking at things like that, solar energy, how viable that is, finding a way for that to be, sustainable and a process in and of itself. And just, like I said, people understanding that humans have to take part in, being a part of this planet more than just inhabiting it. That's really all I really like advocate for. That's something I put in my works as well. Like I want humans to be more accountable for our effect on this planet.
It's deep. It's deep. All right, so I'm gonna be getting into the last two little questions here I got for you. They're gonna be definitely two big ones for you. They are for every artist, but what's your word to the younger generation? Somebody that's younger than you, that's growing in this industry or just living life.
Don't give up. Don't give up, and don't let people define your experience for life and how you want to walk your path in this life. Find your way, find your people, find where you feel you belong, and just give it your all. Don't hesitate. If you're doing some crazy shit, maybe hesitate a little bit. Maybe a little bit. But if it's crazy within a reason and you're actually profiting from that craziness, hey man, say la vie, live and let live. But for the most part, just be careful and take caution in what you're doing and, actually give a fuck about the moment. Don't just keep thinking about the past. Don't keep thinking about the future. Think about the moment that you're living in, because that's where you're able to actually act. That's where your power lies. And then you use that moment to set yourself up for the future. You use the past to educate yourself on your movements into the future. So on and so forth.
That's awesome. For real. All right, for the last little segment, I'm going to give you a second to sit around and talk about all the people, shout them out. Anybody that has helped you further in this career, anybody you want to shout out, say what's up to, explain the person. Go for it, dude. You don't got to say me. You don't have to talk about me.
We all still just niggas doing our thing. So, yeah, that's just shouting out people who helped me grow up, I guess. Like Mrs. Brown. We call it, man. Brother, man, Mike Carey. Rest in peace to him. That dude, literally, I think I'll say Mike Carey definitely helped a lot with the process. I still miss him. Having somebody to show my music and shit like that. My mom's, big time. And a lot of teachers. There's quite a few teachers I have actually. Like Mr. Shipley. Yeah, Mr. Shipplesworth. He's my improv theater teacher and shit like that. He's a cool person. And also, I do have to say, Mr. Spacelight, you can get involved in that. Because, for real, we haven't had many people that really, do what you guys have been trying to do over the years. And, in general, all the homies who I've been working with, I say now, out of all the AOE homies I have, my nigga BC still making music, still doing things, still pushing and progressing with his life. I really do gotta give a big old shout to we call it godmoms, Miss Charlotte too. She looked out for me big time when I needed her. And it's just I don't know. It's a lot of people that have helped me in my life already. And the path is still going. It's still ongoing. It's still work in progress, all of it. So it's really more gonna end up being way more people that end up getting the maximum thanks from me. But yeah, if I had to say, I would say those are the people who have helped me along the way. My father too. I haven't mentioned him as much, but he definitely he ain't gave up. He an asshole at times, but he ain't never gave up.
True. Is that it?
I think so for now. For now. Shout out to my librarian, Miss Withrow. Gave me my first thick book. She was stingy at first, didn't want to give me that motherfucker. I said, hey, I'm gonna read this shit. Let me have it.
All right, well, we're going to call it an interview. Thank you.
Y'all, one love.